Right, let's get those passports ready because today we're diving deep into travel hacks.
Yeah.
You know, the kind that turn you from like a wide-eyed tourist to a seasoned explorer.
I like that.
Right. Speaking of connecting, have you ever tried learning some basic local phrases? Like before a trip, I'm thinking beyond just like hello and thank you.
Oh, yeah?
Even if my pronunciation is like totally off, trying just a little bit of the local lingo has led to some hilariously awesome interactions.
It's like you're cracking a secret code, right?
Right.
Those efforts, even if they're imperfect, show respect and a genuine interest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes that can even translate to a better price at the market or like a hidden gem recommendation.
Totally. And I got to admit, there were some things I used to just skip.
Oh, yeah.
Like really digging into the airline terms and conditions. But then a friend of mine, they got hit with this huge fee. It was for overweight luggage.
Oh, no.
Talk about a vacation budget buster, right?
Ouch. Yeah. Those hidden fees can really sting.
They do.
It's like those, you know, quote, boring but crucial tasks.
Yeah.
They can save you a lot of hassle and money.
So true.
Down the line.
Yeah.
And while we're on the topic of potential travel hiccups, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the one thing that people, I think, often think they can skip: travel insurance.
Right. I used to be one of those, like, it won't happen to me people.
Yeah.
But then I heard this story about someone who needed emergency medical care overseas, and they faced a bill that, like, could have rivaled the cost of a small car.
Oh, wow.
That's when I realized travel insurance isn't just about peace of mind.
Right.
It's about being prepared for, like, the unexpected.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in, like, unfamiliar territory.
Absolutely. It's your safety net
Yeah.
in a foreign land. And frankly, if you can't swing the, you know, relatively small cost of insurance, you might want to reconsider if you can afford the trip itself.
Yeah.
Because when things go wrong overseas, those costs can escalate.
What resonated with me is that budgeting isn't about depriving yourself. It's about being savvy so you can splurge on those really unique experiences.
Exactly. It's about choices. Do you want to, like, blow your budget on a fancy hotel restaurant? Or do you want to try that hole-in-the-wall, family-run place that the locals, like, rave about?
Right.
Sometimes those less obvious choices, they lead to the most authentic and memorable experiences.
Okay, so we've got our pre-trip prep down, our budget's planned out. What about, like, the age-old dilemma of packing?
Right.
One article had a phrase that really stuck with me. Pack light for a happy trip.
I like that.
And honestly, the more I travel, the more I realize that's, like, the golden rule.
I think that's brilliant. There's a psychological freedom that comes with packing light. You're not weighed down.
Oh, yeah.
Literally and figuratively.
So true. Do you remember that time we lugged those massive suitcases
Oh, gosh.
through the cobblestone streets of Prague?
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a workout. Now, I challenge myself to pack everything into a carry-on whenever possible.
It makes such a difference.
It's a game changer for navigating airports, trains, and those charming but often, like, narrow European streets.
Plus, you know, think about the spontaneity it allows.
Right.
You're not tied to a mountain of luggage. You can, like, easily hop on a train for a last-minute day trip.
Yes.
Or wander down a side street without feeling like you're dragging your entire life with you.
Exactly. And here's another thing that can, like, weigh you down, figuratively at least, that fear of looking like a tourist
Oh, yeah.
and sticking out like a sore thumb.
That's a real concern. And not just, you know, for the sake of blending in. How being perceived as a tourist can actually make you a target
Right.
for scams or petty theft.
Yeah. It's all about being aware of your surroundings.
Right.
Not, like, broadcasting clueless tourist vibes, right?
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that what might seem like a, like, harmless fashion choice at home can be interpreted very differently.
Very differently. Yeah.
In another culture.
Yeah.
So observing and adapting is key,
Yeah.
just like with language.
Absolutely. And even beyond avoiding those obvious tourist uniform items, it's about being mindful of how you carry yourself.
Right.
Flashing expensive cameras or looking lost with a map can, you know, attract unwanted attention.
Okay, so how do we navigate a new city without looking like we're totally lost?
That's
We
right.
just, like, wander aimlessly and hope for the best.
Not exactly. It's about being discreet and resourceful.
Yeah.
Before you even leave your hotel, take a few minutes to study a map, either online or like an actual paper map. Try to memorize a few like key landmarks or street names.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much a little like mental preparation can help you feel more confident.
Right.
Unless, like, you're just wandering around in a daze.
I actually do something similar.
Yeah.
I'll, like, screenshot directions on my phone
Mm-hmm.
or even jot down, like, a few notes on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
So I'm not constantly glued to my phone looking for the blue dot.
Smart. And if you do need to consult your phone for directions, try to do it discreetly, like step into a shop or cafe, act like you're browsing,
I'm right.
and then quickly check your bearings.
That's a, like, secret agent mission.
It is.
And which, unfortunately, are, like, a reality of travel.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, have you ever encountered, like, a travel scam that really surprised you?
Oh, absolutely. I was once in Istanbul,
Okay.
and these guys, like, dressed as police officers, approached me,
Oh.
claiming they needed to, like, check my passport for counterfeit money. Luckily, I had read about this scam beforehand,
Oh, wow.
so I knew it was a hoax.
That's scary. It's a good reminder that even in seemingly safe environments, you got to be cautious and not just blindly trust anyone.
Exactly. It's about being aware of your surroundings,
Yeah?
trusting your instincts, and if something feels off, don't be afraid to, like, say no or walk away.
But what about when we actually need to pay for things?
Mm-hmm.
Mastering the local currency is key, right?
Absolutely. It's amazing how something as simple as handling money can either make you feel, like, confident and savvy or completely flustered and vulnerable.
I know, right? I remember being in Vietnam, and the denominations were so large that I was constantly, like, getting confused
Oh, yeah.
and overpaying for things.
Right.
I'm pretty sure those street vendors were having a, like, good laugh at my expense.
It's all too easy to get flustered,
Yeah.
especially in a new environment. That's why it's helpful to, like, study the currency beforehand.
Yeah.
Familiarize yourself with the denominations. Maybe even carry a cheat sheet in your wallet.
Yeah.
At least until you get the hang of it.
That's a great tip. And while we're talking about practicalities, let's address the elephant in the room. Data roaming?
Oh, yeah.
I once racked up a phone bill that could have funded a small vacation
Wow.
after forgetting to turn off data roaming on a trip. Ouch!
Data roaming can be a real trap.
It can.
Luckily, there are, like, some great alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever tried using a local SIM card when you travel?
You know, I haven't.
Really?
I've always just relied on Wi-Fi, but I can see how having mobile data would be super helpful for navigating, looking up information on the go,
Absolutely.
and, staying connected
Right?
with folks back home.
Exactly. Local SIM cards are often quite affordable, and they give you a local number which can be useful for booking tours or making reservations. And, if you're not comfortable swapping out your SIM card, there are other options like eSIMs, which are digital SIMs that you can activate on your phone, or portable Wi-Fi hotspots,
Oh, okay.
which you can rent or buy.
That's good to know. I'll definitely have to explore those options for my next trip.
Absolutely. Because let's face it, being connected, even while you're exploring a new destination, is like a part of modern travel.
Yeah.
But it's all about finding the most cost-effective and convenient solution.
Right. For your needs.
For your needs.
Well said. Must capture every moment mentality.
Yeah.
That's so prevalent in the age of social media. I know I've been guilty of it. Spending more time, like, looking through a lens
Yeah.
than actually experiencing a place. Have you ever, like, found yourself falling into that trap?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I remember being so focused on getting the perfect shot of the Eiffel Tower that I almost tripped over a Heim.
Oh, my gosh.
It's so easy to get caught up in, documenting everything for Instagram or Facebook that we forget to, like, just be there.
Right. And the irony is those perfectly curated travel photos, a lot of times they don't capture the essence of a place. The feeling, the sounds, the smells, the energy. It's those little, like, unscripted moments that really stay with us long after the trip is over.
One tip I found helpful is to dedicate, like, specific times for taking photos or videos, almost like a mini photo shoot,
Yeah.
and then, put the phone away and just soak it in.
That's a great strategy.
Yeah.
Create those, like, dedicated windows for capturing memories. And then just allow yourself to, like, simply be present
Right.
and experience the magic,
Yeah,
unfolding around you.
exactly. And those moments that you choose not to document might actually become some of your most cherished travel memories.
So we're mindful of our attire. We're present in the moment. But let's talk about a challenge that can really test our, like, savvy traveler skills.
Yeah.
Getting lost. One article suggested intentionally venturing off, like the beaten path.
Yeah,
That sounds romantic, but honestly, it kind of makes me a bit nervous too.
I understand.
What if, I end up in a sketchy area or can't find my way back?
I hear you. There's definitely a difference between like adventurous exploration and reckless wandering, you know? It's
Right.
crucial to be aware of your surroundings and use like common sense. If a street or neighborhood feels unsafe, trust your gut and head back to more familiar territory.
Okay. It's about being present,
Yeah.
not just physically, but mentally, like tuning in to the environment and trusting those gut feelings.
Exactly. And remember, even if you do get a bit lost, there's always a way to reorient yourself. Ask for directions, hop in a taxi, or, use your phone's GPS. Just make sure you've got that data roaming sorted out.
Right. Speaking of like unexpected challenges, let's talk about something that can really throw a wrench in your travel plans. Getting sick.
Ugh. Nobody wants to deal with a stomach bug.
No.
Or a nasty cold while they're on vacation.
Especially on vacation. Right.
And it seems like it always happens at the worst possible time.
Murphy's Law of Travel, right?
Right.
So beyond, the obvious, like travel insurance and a well-stocked first aid kit, what are like your top tips
Yeah.
for staying healthy on the road?
Well, staying hydrated, that's key, especially when you're in a different climate or more active than usual. Carry a reusable water bottle and refill it whenever you can. And be mindful of, like, food safety.
Right.
The street food might look tempting, but,
Yeah.
Choose vendors who are cooking at high temperatures,
Yeah.
using fresh ingredients.
And what about those situations where you're traveling to a place with a totally different cuisine?
Yeah.
I'm all about trying new things, but I've also had like my fair share of food adventures gone wrong.
I hear ya. Sometimes those culinary adventures are a bit too adventurous. One tip is to start slowly.
Yeah.
Maybe don't try the most exotic dish on your first day or, give your stomach a chance to adapt. And when in doubt, listen to your body.
Good advice.
Yeah.
And beyond food, what about like other health hazards we should be aware of?
Well, depending on your destination, you might need to consider things like insect repellent, sunscreen, altitude sickness medication, or, even vaccinations. Do your research beforehand.
Right.
And consult with a travel health specialist if you have any concerns.
Okay, so we've covered how to stay healthy, how to navigate those unexpected challenges.
Yeah.
But let's face it, sometimes the biggest hurdle is dealing with our own minds. Jet lag. Anyone.
Ugh, jet lag. The ultimate travel foe. It's amazing how a few hours of time difference can, totally disrupt your sleep, energy levels, and even your mood.
I remember flying from New York to Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first few days, I felt like I was walking around in a fog. My body was telling me it was bedtime, but the sun was shining and the city was bustling.
Right.
Talk about confusing.
I've been there. It's like your internal clock is completely out of whack. And it can take days, even a week to really fully adjust. But, there are things you can do to kind of minimize the effects.
Okay, I'm all ears. Give me your best jet lag busting tips.
Well, first, try to gradually adjust your sleep schedule a few days before your trip, moving closer to the time zone of your destination.
Okay.
And once you arrive, expose yourself to natural daylight as much as possible. This helps reset your body's circadian rhythm.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've also found that avoiding caffeine and alcohol, especially in the evening, can help improve, sleep quality.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of hydration. Dehydration can actually worsen the symptoms of jet lag.
Right.
So make sure you're drinking plenty of water throughout your journey.
Okay, so we're hydrated, we're getting some sunshine, we're avoiding those late night espressos. But what about when jet lag hits us hard
Yeah.
and we're just feeling exhausted and out of sorts?
Listen to your body.
Yeah.
If you need a nap, take a nap. Even a short power nap can do wonders for your energy levels.
Yeah.
And remember, jet lag is temporary. It might feel awful in the moment,
Right.
but it will pass and you'll be back to your usual self soon enough.
That's reassuring. It's a good reminder that even when we're, faced with those travel challenges, whether it's, jet lag, getting lost, or dealing with a language barrier, it's all part of the adventure.
Exactly. And sometimes those challenges, they lead to the most unexpected and memorable moments.
So true. And speaking of memorable moments, one thing I've learned from my travels is that sometimes the most meaningful connections, they happen when we least expect them.
I couldn't agree more. Those serendipitous encounters with locals or fellow travelers often create the most, like, lasting impressions.
Like that time we were in a tiny village in the Italian countryside,
Oh, yeah.
and we ended up having dinner with a local family who invited us into their home after we kind of stumbled upon their vineyard.
Oh, that's right.
We couldn't, like, understand a word they were saying, but their warmth and generosity, it just spoke volumes.
That's a beautiful example. It's a reminder that human connection, it transcends language barriers.
Oh, it really does.
Sometimes a smile and a shared meal are all it takes to create a, like, lasting bond.
And those are the moments that truly enrich our travel experiences. You know, the ones that remind us that the world is full of kind and welcoming people, even the most unexpected places.
Absolutely. And, one thing that both articles kind of touched on was the importance of not just, like, being a traveler,
Right.
but being a good traveler, a
Right.
responsible traveler.
Right. It's about being mindful of our impact on the places we visit and the people we encounter.
Exactly. It's about respecting local customs, being aware of our, environmental footprint, and supporting local businesses. It's about leaving a positive mark on the places we visit, not just, taking photos and souvenirs.
I love that perspective.
Yeah.
It's about traveling with, like, intention and purpose,
Yeah.
not just ticking destinations off a bucket list.
Yeah, it's about traveling with, like, a sense of curiosity, openness, and respect for the world.
There's one more, like, travel hurdle I want to talk about, one that I think a lot of us can relate to.
Oh, I think I know where you're going with this.
Okay.
Those dreaded post-trip blues.
Yes, you nailed it. That feeling of, returning home after this amazing adventure
Yeah.
and feeling like kind of like a deflated balloon. You're back to reality, the laundry's piled up, and all you can think about is your next escape.
Have you ever struggled with that, like, post-travel slump? Oh, absolutely. I think it's almost inevitable after you've had, like, such an enriching experience. You've been immersed in new cultures, meeting fascinating people, trying, like, delicious foods, and then suddenly you're back to your routine. It's like reverse culture shock.
It's so strange, right? You'd think coming home would be this, like, joyous reunion, but instead it can feel like a bit anticlimactic. So how do we, like, deal with those post-trip blues and keep that travel spirit alive, even when we're, stuck in our everyday lives?
Well, first, I think it's important to acknowledge and embrace those feelings. Like, don't try to, brush them aside or pretend that you're not experiencing them. It's perfectly normal to feel a sense of sadness or even, like, a bit of grief after returning from a trip that's been, so meaningful to you.
It's like saying goodbye to, like, a good friend or even, like, a whole chapter of your life almost.
Yeah, exactly. And just like you would, cherish the memories of a special friendship, take some time to, like, savor the memories of your trip. Go through your photos, write down your experiences in a journal, create a photo album, or even just share stories with friends and family.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Sometimes reliving those travel memories,
Yeah.
even in, like, small ways, can help us reconnect with that sense of joy and, adventure that we experienced on the trip.
It's about, like, keeping those memories alive
Yeah.
and letting them continue to inspire you. And, another thing that can be really helpful is to start planning your next adventure.
Well, I love that. It's like having a travel light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like a weekend getaway or a day trip to a nearby town, having something to look forward to can make all the difference.
Exactly. And the planning process itself can be, like, a mini adventure. Start researching destinations, brainstorming ideas, creating a travel board, anything that, like, sparks that sense of excitement and wanderlust.
Right. That's a, like, fantastic way to keep that travel spirit alive and kicking. And, even when we're not, like, physically traveling, we can still incorporate elements of travel into our, like, everyday lives.
Yeah, I love that idea. What do you mean by that?
Well, think about it. Travel is all about exploring, trying new things, and expanding our, like, horizons.
Yeah.
We could do that, like, right where we are. We can try a new restaurant that serves, cuisine from a country we'd love to visit. We can watch a foreign film. We could read a book set in a far-off destination, or even just, like, strike up a conversation with someone from a different culture.
Those are all wonderful ways to keep that travel spirit alive and bring a bit of, like, the world into our everyday lives. It's about fostering that sense of curiosity and, openness that makes travel so enriching.
Well said. So to our listeners, we hope this deep dive has given you some valuable insights and practical tips to make your next trip the best one yet.
Remember, travel is more than just like ticking destinations off a list. It's about embracing the unexpected, connecting with different cultures, and creating memories that will last a lifetime. And as we've learned, even when you're back home, the journey, it doesn't have to end. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep that travel spirit alive.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, happy travels.